Hey folks, Sean here, and today what I want to talk about is how not to manage price discounts for your product with an example provided by Tesla and the recent discounts that they've provided and the PR nightmare that that's caused, especially in China. So if you're unfamiliar with this story, Tesla has more recently been steeply discounting several of the models that they offer all over the world to the tune of thousands of dollars in some markets. And in particular, customers that have paid for the Tesla vehicles before these price discounts went into place are very upset. Why? Well, because the discounts are not applying to them in any form of refund or anything like that. So as you can imagine, if you were one of these people that purchased a Tesla at its previously higher price, in some markets considerably higher price, you probably wouldn't be very happy to learn that all of a sudden they've reduced that price by thousands of dollars and it doesn't apply to you. Now, in certain areas of the world, in particular in China, this has become a total PR nightmare where their customers that have paid that higher price have been storming their stores and vandalizing them because how Tesla has treated this situation and the fact that they're not offering them anything. In fact, it all feels pretty poorly planned, and the execution does as well. So this is among some of the risk that you can experience if you're going to start offering discounts for your product. And that's why I say it really is important with how you manage it, because if you don't, it can turn into a PR nightmare like this one. This is the last thing that you want to see, right? I understand that they're trying to incentivize selling more vehicles, but they didn't execute that plan well, especially in China. Now, I want to talk a little bit about the difference in the markets as well too, because the Chinese market is different than the American market. And what I mean by that is in China, they leverage a different model. In China, they have a direct sales model, which we don't yet have here in the United States, but it seems like things are kind of pushing in that direction, although it's undetermined when something like that might apply in the United States. But in China, they have a direct sales model, meaning that price transparency is very high. So everyone can see, where your price is and where it's been. That means that you need to treat how you manage your price differently in the Chinese market than you do in the American market, where there's a dealership network. The dealership network is kind of like the wholesale retail model, where the manufacturers provide the vehicles for a price to the dealership, and then the dealership has some price flexibility in terms of what they want to charge from there based on market conditions. And they can manage incentives and all that type of stuff. So American consumers are accustomed to there being some of these incentives that come and go, incentivizing them to purchase at different times and things like that. So the way you manage the process in the American market should not be the same as how you manage in the Chinese market. And that appears to be what Tesla essentially has done here, where they kind of just rolled out the same strategy in both markets, and no previous customers are happy anywhere. But in China, they're particularly upset because it's very, very uncommon. So you really need to be careful how you manage price discounts for your product. In fact, I would really never like to see you offer price discounts, but if you are going to do it, you really shouldn't have to do it if the value is high and the value is strong. And I think that's really some of the underlying fundamental issues that are going on here at Tesla. But if you are going to manage it, you need to make sure that you manage it well. Otherwise, you could create one of these PR nightmares for yourself. So I want to talk to you about how you can manage this process much better than Tesla has to avoid this PR nightmare that you might experience yourself as well too, if you want to get creative with your pricing for your products. And in particular, this applies when you're talking about discounting your product, and how it applies with managing your relationships with your previous customers, who you should be taking care of as well too, because they should be brand ambassadors for you, not going around telling everybody about how they got shafted by you, which is probably what these Tesla customers are going to be doing, and it's going to cause untold brand and reputation damage. So that is not worth it at any price. But if you do want to get creative with how you're managing your pricing, in particular, you want to offer discounts, but you want to do them in a creative way, in a way that works for everybody, you've got to get more creative with how you manage your relationship with your previous customers. Now, I've seen other product companies try to do this as well too, and it always creates a form of backlash. So you have to expect that, because people have paid a higher price, then you're all of a sudden charging for the product right now. So you need a story to be able to share with them, or something to provide for them that's going to make them feel okay with the situation, like grandfathering them in for whatever they had paid previously. Like, for example, if you wanted to offer additional services, or you wanted to switch to a subscription model, or whatever it is, however you're changing your pricing model, right? If you want to do that, then you need to manage the process with your existing customers in a different way than you're managing it for everybody else who's completely new to your product. That's where you can make a clean break. So whatever they've paid before, if that was expected to include whatever features and upgrades you were going to add to your product moving forward, it still should. You should manage it that way. So you have to bifurcate how you're managing this basically subset of customers in order to minimize the backlash that you're going to get from making these changes. Now, everybody understands and expects there to be changes to product and product companies along the way. That's something customers, for the most part, are relatively familiar with, but they're not looking for you to take advantage of them. That's going to create all kinds of problems for you and your company, potentially for the foreseeable future if you don't manage this the right way. So figure out how you can make essentially both groups of customers as happy as possible. You're not going to make everyone happy, but you need to offer them something. You can't just tell them that, nope, you bought then, and as such, you're being penalized for it. That's really not how this should work. And if you do that, I promise you're going to create a mess just like Tesla has. Hey folks, Sean here. Thanks for watching my content. I hope you got value out of it. If you did, please consider liking this video and subscribing to the channel so you can be notified when more content like this becomes available. And my question for you, which I'd love for you to answer in the comments, is how do you think Tesla should make it right for their previous customers that purchased at the higher price?